Oi, oi. Welcome back to the Martin Liga channel with special guest today, Guy Anderson, who's joining us. Guy, welcome to Flat Earth British Martin Liga channel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me on, Martin. It's a pleasure to chat with you again.
Yeah, well, it was a pleasure after I talked on your channel, and everybody, I read the comments, it was great feedback. Everybody thought we were really good at having a chat together. So I thought,
yeah,
maybe...
I think people like it when you go. You know, both of us. I do it quite a lot. You go off tangent, don't you? You go off down another rabbit hole somewhere, and I think people quite enjoy that.
Well, I do, because spontaneity is true spirituality. In fact, I'll start there. What are your feelings on spirituality? Or are you a religious man? Or do you think that there's a God, a creator, or is it all mind? How do you feel what this realm is?
That's a tough one, isn't it? Okay, very. Honest. I'm still unsure. I think that I think we were made. I think that there was intervention. I am a believer that something, maybe the Anunnaki, something took Neanderthal man, tweaked around with it, and out we came, or a version of us. But I think that we are still connected to the original source of energy, Gaia, Mother Nature, whatever it is. I think we are connected to it. I think we're all connected. I think we're here for a reason. As to what made us and what actually is God, I certainly don't think it's ever referred to in any biblical text. I think it's way bigger than that, and I don't think it's a person or a being. I think it's energy.
Yeah.
And I think that over the years, people have tried to connect to it by taking things like ayahuasca and hallucinogenics to try and connect, or through meditation. And I do think we're capable of that, or at least we perhaps would have been a lot more capable without, if our pineal glands hadn't been corrupted with calcium. Yeah, absolutely, fluoride in the water and all the EMFs and what we're subjected to. So I think we're all connected. And by all, I mean people like you and me, people watching this. I think the parasites that the bloodline families, these corrupt beings or whatever they are, I don't think they are connected. I think that they're something entirely different, and I think that might be traceable through their blood or DNA. I think that they're a different race. They just look a bit like us. So I think there is something, and I do think that I think that perhaps our minds or our spirit or our soul is in the fifth dimension, and that we live in the third dimension to enable us to be creative and to experience creativity and life, rather than just sense it and think it. We can actually live it. So I think this is an experience for us, and I think the ultimate goal is to connect to the fifth dimension while still living in the third. I think that that's the purpose. And then we do connect with the source, the God, whatever you want to call it, and to live that way, which is actually what I think the Tartarians did.
Same.
I think that was what they were doing.
Yeah, I really do think that was their mindset.
Yeah, perhaps a completely different civilization to us. They might have been a different race of people altogether.
Well, I think so. With I don't know if you know Guy's, but Guy's channel will be linked up below. He's just written a book, brilliant actually. Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids, which is the name of your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
And give us a brief outline, because I definitely, well, it is no secret that cloning is a thing, but it would make perfect sense to me to, if you were going to repopulate somewhere that has got completely wiped out, that this would be a great way to do it, is clone the people, and it's finite models. People don't look the same. They really do look the same. It's like they got about what, I think this place is an RV, and I think they only got like X amount of templates for information. That includes music as well. It's like all the music's repeated. When I was looking into the Beatles recording only recently, they were just literally using old composers and old scores, just different arrangements. That's all everything is. It's different arrangements of X amount of templates.
Yeah.
For whatever this place is. But yeah, cloning. When I went to America, somebody asked me, "Do you ever get worried about being cloned?" Now, would you notice if you're being cloned? Because I noticed there's a thing out there at the moment about Adrienne Grande, the singer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hits all just lately, doesn't she? It's really quite, she looks like anorexic or something. But she's playing up, saying that she can't remember any of her past. Her memories have been wiped, and crying, saying that she wants her memories back. There's some process with these people where they're just. And I was wondering, because when I watched, I put a video up last night of me only in 2019. I look completely different, and I don't remember any of it. I mean, the book I read out, I don't remember ever reading that book out, Guy, ever. So if you got cloned, would you notice? Or did they clone the pain with you? Because the pain that I had before is still there. So
yeah, I see. My theory on that is I've read a lot of because I'm writing a second book, and that is more focused on the Cabbage Patch babies and cloning and clonade and what's going on. And from what I've researched, and I don't know, before anybody sort of shoots me down and says they don't clone and you can't prove it, these are
no, I can. You can Google it. Google it yourself. They are fucking cloning. It's legal in Japan.
I think so. I think so. And one place that keeps coming up when you look into cloning is Korea, with a lot of animals. But
and embryonic cloning.
Yes.
Which is they're cloning. You can clone seeds, but you can clone animals' eggs. There's different things you can clone. But yeah.
So. My thoughts are that when if you look at the human incubator, the baby incubators, from the World's Fairs, there were a couple of signs up saying that watch a baby, we can grow a full baby from within a month when it should take 9.
12 months growth. In a week.
Yeah, and that was advertised in these World's Fairs. So there's obviously a way of speeding things up. So what I think happens is, and this is from reading stuff by Donald Marshall, and I've been following him for about 10 years now, and I've read his books. And what he says happens is when they clone someone, or when you sell your soul to the devil, when you want to make it big, the selling your soul is actually giving the Illuminati the right to clone you, to make a clone. And a lot of stars and singers have spoken out about this. Kevin Hart, Britney Spears, Kid Boo. There's been
Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence has as well. There's quite a few that claim to have been cloned and are speaking about it quite openly. And they say that what happens is when you sell your soul to the devil, people don't care because they want to be famous, and they don't believe in, they're not perhaps religious, they don't believe in a soul, so they think they're selling something that doesn't exist. It doesn't matter, but they're selling the right to be cloned. And then what happens is when they go to sleep at night and they enter REM, that the information from them is sent to the clone. So if the clone was to appear on an interview tomorrow or at a dinner party, it's up to date. It knows exactly what's going on. And these clones are used in all sorts of rituals, and they're abused and beaten and broken. And, a lot of sort of sexual acts happening with them, very degrading stuff. And the deal is, if you play by the rules, you do exactly what you're supposed to do, you turn up at that premiere, you get that next album out, whatever it is, you're fine. The minute you start to kick back or fight back, or don't go with the flow, or you start to sort of become a little bit resentful, or you regret having done the deal, or you want out, like Whitney Houston said that she didn't want anything to do with it anymore. She didn't want to be on TV, she didn't want to be on the radio, and then obviously she died. I think what they then do is whatever happens to the clone is fed back to you during REM. So you wake up the next morning and you ache or you feel ill. Donald Marshall kept complaining that he had a heart problem. And he said that that's because they kept stabbing his clone in the heart. They'd make another clone and stab it in the heart, make another one. And they were uploading this to him because he was speaking out. So I think that is what's going on. And we've seen the malfunction. I've seen Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Hillary Clinton. Have you seen them? With the eye, with the whole vril. Yeah, and obviously the Queen. There's been lots of people that have had that inserted.
Yeah, the Bill Clinton meltdown was most strange.
Yeah, Bill Clinton as well. Yeah.
It's just like his whole. He was just switched off. It's like he wasn't even human. He's like,
I sort of watched him having his makeup done when he was president.
That's the one I'm seeing. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
How could you do that? They're putting like powder in his face and everything. He doesn't even blink. He doesn't move.
I've been following this series. It's just my interest, what I like about the recording of the Beatles album day by day. But this guy, he doesn't know. He's not coming from the context of Paul died and got replaced. Okay, he's not. But he did ask the question on one I watched a couple of nights ago that Paul doesn't seem to know anything about his past. He has two different versions, and he showed a video of two different narratives coming out of Paul's mouth about the origins of the record I Feel Fine. It's just like he can't seem to remember. Something in that. It might not be just he's died, but it's like he distinctly looks like him. Whether or not they found another musical genius to par the first one, because I don't think they were musical geniuses. The music was diabolical in the beginning, So I'm not sure what happened there. I definitely think they're being cloned. But
I think so too. I think so. And the Beatles is a conspiracy in itself, isn't it? Because there's so much around there. I spoke to someone who said that they had met John Lennon relatively recently, and that he was living in some sort of like little cottage by the sea somewhere on his own. And they spoke to him.
It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever that. But the whole narrative with the selling your soul, you got me there. I wonder if it's possible to sell half your soul.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? I mean, like Kevin Hart. I remember watching an interview with him.
I don't like the guy anyway. It creeps me out.
No, I don't like him because I don't like Dwayne Johnson, and I don't like the fact that he appears to be his sort of puppet. Maybe Dwayne Johnson is Kevin Hart's handler. They say that they have. Like, if you ever see, there was footage of a basketball match where Jay-Z's there with Beyonce, and you can see that she's controlled. There was I can't remember the name of the rapper, but he was accused of hitting his girlfriend or another woman, and sat in the back of the court is Rihanna, and Rihanna appears to be controlling him. Oh, I can't remember his name. It'll come to me. I'm not a huge fan of
rap, not me. But but how can Rihanna be one of the? I think she's the second richest rock star in America. She's worth billions.
Yeah,
it's really strange because the music's shit.
Yeah, Robin.
Well, that thing that does Robin, that umbrella is actually a Turkish, like la 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 is a Turkish voodoo spell. Well, she's doing umbrella. That's also vibrationally a Turkish magic spell. And she had like 60,000 people at Glastonbury singing it in the rain, just proper mind controlling them. So yeah, and getting them to do magic as well. So there's that.
I think that it's all it's all there if you want to see it.
It's where you put your attention. Where your attention goes, energy flows. And I noticed something else as well. If you're searching for something, you'll damn well find it. I find what I'm looking for all the time. I'm like seek and destroy. Yeah, I noticed that. Seek and destroy. What got you into this? Have you always been a fan of history, or what? What sort of geography? Are you a math man? What do you like? Obviously history.
Yeah, history. Yeah, well, not. It was programmed into me, if you like. I was born into it. My dad. I don't know what got my dad into it, but when I was a kid, I mean, I'm talking about the 70s, because I'm similar age to you, and my dad is reading these books on Atlantis. and Egypt, but not Egypt as in here is a guidebook on Egypt or here is the narrative on Egypt. He's reading conspiratorial books about things. Atlantis in particular, absolutely obsessed. So he joins the Freemasons. And he did it because he was working in the city and he thought it would further his career.
Most working men did at that point. Coal miners as well. Yeah, that's what, yeah.
He thought that not only would it help him, it would propel him, but also he would get the answers to all of these questions he had. King Solomon, who built the pyramids? Why are we here? Who's in charge? You know, they can't build a pyramid today, so how did they do it back then? And he wanted to know all of this stuff, so he reads a lot. He reads 2 or 3 books a week. So as I got a little bit older, sort of early teens, I start reading them, and he'd say to me, "Oh, this one's quite easy. You won't find it, you know, because obviously as a kid, he's not going to give me, you know, he's not going to give me a Hawkins book to try and get through." And as I got older, he started reading David Icke, and I started reading these books as well. So I grew up with this Freemason who was obsessed with Atlantis, obsessed with knowing where we're from, an atheist. An absolute atheist. He does not believe in the Bible. He doesn't believe that Jesus existed. He doesn't believe in God, any of that. He thinks no, doesn't believe. He thinks sorry, yes, as in the deluge, yeah, but he doesn't believe that he doesn't believe that we came from Adam and Eve. He believes that it was Anunnaki, that it's always been alien intervention, and that they're out there. So you know, I grew up with that. So I've always been into conspiracy theories. I've never believed anything. I don't believe in dinosaurs. I don't believe we've been to the moon.
They just found a new one.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, the Glad You Never Saw Us. They brought it out this week. Yeah, but you know, with UFOs and the whole narrative that people saying from space, well, you know, to my mind, the early origins show that even in the evolutionary theory, the humans came from a fish out of the seas, then turned into a lungfish, then a lightning struck it and it turned into a monkey, whatever. But maybe there's just like, because they can't lie, okay, because they can't, okay, it's in the rule set, they're not allowed to lie, they just distort the truth.
Yeah, they're scared of karmic retribution, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. They show us mermaids, mermen all over the architecture, the Phoenician mermaid. Well, to me, that could be water above there, above us. And why wouldn't it? You know, why couldn't it come from above us, out to the water? It makes perfect sense to me. You know, so I think there's a lot to the Phoenician narrative. You know, look how many things in our narrative. A lot of it's high.
Yeah, it all stems from Phoenicians. Yeah, a lot of, you know, even the laws and maths and
and the whole thing for birth as well. That's what gets me. You know, because you know, baby, money and baby, like bay, B, like a shipping, and then the birth canal. You know, the whole thing's tied in with shipping, and you know, the arrival of something, and we're born into water. Yeah, I mean, we arrive in water, and then we're born into air
through the canal. Yeah. Birth
which
canal,
is like and then we're like a fish out of water. Then we got to use our lungs.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't think, you know, it occurred to me how, you know, we're just totally not only so imperfect compared to animals, because a lot of that is through social engineering and life choices and the way humanity is. Defines, you know, clothes and everything about us when we're not really like that. But the physical imperfections, you know, the things that we have ill and stuff. And I am a believer that they do this. I think that all is mind. And if you just think about it, it'll be there. If you don't think about it, it won't be. I noticed that with being ill. I know how many times have you ever been ill and then suddenly something could grab your attention and it's all gone away.
I think that a lot, you know, like my mum has always got something wrong with her. She's never been really ill, and I think like if you rang her up right now and said, "Are you okay?" She said, "Yeah, I'm fine." So come on, what's niggling you? Oh well, it's me knee today. Well, if I tapped her on the shoulder and said, "You'll never guess what? I've just won the lottery. Here's £2 million," her knee wouldn't bother her ever again. It would, in the blink of an eye.
Oh yeah,
the pain would go. So I think sometimes I think that we find things that are wrong with us. But it's funny because when you talk about evolution and how we are like fish out of water.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at my glasses and your glasses.
Why?
And I'm thinking, why do our eyes? Why have our eyes deteriorated at such a relatively young age?
And why do we deteriorate like that anyway?
Perfection. Yeah, and our backs and backs.
But not only that, it's just like, you know, down to the extent that we need clothing from the beginning. Animals are already kitted out, but us, we have to, you know, find a cave or a protection away from the elements, because the elements, if it's hot, it'll kill us. If it's cold, we'll die of hypothermia. We are completely no good for this environment, no matter where it is. Almost as if we shouldn't come from here. You know,
so how is that evolution? And if Darwin, like Darwin said, and I've done some digging on Darwin. He was a fucking strange man. If we've evolved and Darwin said we evolved to meet our ever-changing environment, and you know, that's clearly not the case, is it? Because thousands of years on from when we first walked the earth, why do I burn? Why do I get sunburn? Why do I burn in the sun? How is that possibly evolution? The one thing I know I need, other than water, to sustain life is direct sunlight. I need exposure to sunlight for lots of reasons. And if I have too much, I dehydrate and burn. How? And the only other creature I can think of that does that is the pig. It'll roll itself in mud to stop it burning. And that, I think, is because that shouldn't be here. That's something that was just made.
I think their eyes, they look like human eyes.
I know. I think that that is a human boar hybrid.
Well, maybe they were just splicing, you know, with know, maybe because everyone's got like elements of some sort of animal in them. I noticed a woman went past me today in the park, and she was identical to a dog. She had this skinny little face, and the dog was a whippet and had a skinny little face. I was like, my God, did you do that deliberately? How did that even happen?
That's definitely a thing, though, isn't it? I've heard that a few times where people say that, you know, owners do look like their dogs, or dogs do look like their owners.
Got like an old English sheepdog, and they got a shaggy perm.
Yeah, there's something there. And how do we get, like, we've got a little pug zoo, so he's half pug, half Shih Tzu, called Arthur. How did Arthur evolve from a wolf? He is this big. How did the wolf spin off into Dalmatians, poodles, Shih Tzus, pugs, Rottweiler? This is bollocks. This is
Rottweilers.
It's just not possible. And then look at some weird stuff as well. I always say to people, and when we're talking about animals and the possibility of cloning and creating different animals or tweaking around to create different sort of species. If you look at the duck-billed platypus, what the bloody hell happened there? Or the panda?
It's like the reality's telling us, this is a matrix. Just putting that thing in.
Makes
no sense.
I was talking to someone called Kelly Hardy. She's a friend of mine. She's been on my channel, and she often puts stuff onto the Facebook group. And she said to me, "Look at the panda. It can't climb, and it has trouble breeding."
Yeah.
So what's it about? It just sits and eats bamboo. It actually, as a bear, it can't climb, and it can't even reproduce very successfully.
No, I never see king in London Zoo.
There you go. So what's that about? You know, how did that even happen?
Well, I did juggle with the idea that there's no such thing, but there is obviously such a thing. But they were people just dressed up. But I seen a video on Facebook this morning of a panda being really horrible to its young, just smacking it away. They come up to it. So they're not particularly loving either, as well as they suck, and they do nothing in reality, and they can't even hardly make babies. So what is their point? That's a bit like dinosaurs, though, isn't it? You know, they're supposed to have ruled the realm just imagine this is a quantum mechanical realm and it needs consciousness to make it happen, right? So what's these big brainless lizards rendering then with their intelligence? It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no
And
sense.
it's funny, isn't it? Because like when I was a kid, I wanted to go to the Natural History Museum in London to see the dinosaurs, and my dad took us. We didn't live that far away; we were about sort of 40 minutes away, and I grew up with dinosaurs. But like I said to you earlier on, when is the last time you put the news on and someone had uncovered a T-Rex or a Triceratops or whatever?
This week they're supposed to have found a dinosaur, but if you actually look into it, you can Google this, anyone yourself, and you'll find out that there's not one genuine dinosaur exhibit out in public. The Smithsonian say they have some, but it's in their vault.
Is it? Is this the vault that's flooded? The vault that's got an asbestos issue, or did they lose it somewhere?
Imagine what they've kept in the past. All the evidence is.
Well, I kind of think that these dinosaur remains that they've found over the years, I think they're probably something else. I think that they could be dragons, griffins, giant bones, and I think they came up with this backstory.
Well, there's enough narrative in the past for dragons. You can take them at face value. The dragons of Krakow, which destroyed the city, just like in the movie. I got a book where they say there was dragons fighting off of South Wales, but are they talking about futurist ships, with flames coming out of them? I don't know.
But did they add the flame bit to make it unbelievable? Did they just say that? Did they suddenly start saying, well, yeah, dragons in mythology breathe fire? When did that bit come out? Because you're quite right, it could be two things, couldn't it? There could be a creature that is a dragon, and there could be other people describing something that is, some sort of ship, spaceship, plane, whatever, some sort of airship of some description that actually just looks like one, and it's firing direct energy weapons. I think they've been around forever.
Same here.
I think all the meltology stuff is kind of evidence of that.
Oh yeah, sure.
Sodom and Gomorrah, and
100%. Yeah. I don't think all, there was a plasma event. I actually talked about that a little bit last night. But, I'm not really in the camp that the Himalayan mountains were cities. I'm not in that camp. I think that's a little bit too much. Too far. That's too far. Or the Alps, because they literally, are massive mountains. And what would the city have looked like if it would have been like, I don't know, it's nearly 1 million square miles, isn't it, the Himalayas? So...
Do you think there's some stuff gets lost in translation or muddled? Because the Count of Saint Germain, who allegedly lived for hundreds, if not thousands of years, he said that he was from an immortal race of beings that lived under the Himalayas. Now, is he talking about Agartha there? Is that just an entry?
Agartha, point? Shangri-La is what they call
Shangri-La,
it. The Germans, when they went on a quest in the late 30s for the origins of what they said was the Aryan peoples, and they went to the High Tibetan Plateau, and there's stories as well of they were hiding something and they wouldn't let them in. And the British controlled it at that period. They were literally masters of Nepal for quite some time, when I was looking into it. So I think there is stuff being hid by the lamas, the high lamas, and I think there are secrets, literally mind-blowing secrets right now in this place that are hidden from us. Do you think there's a possibility of other entities out of the visible light spectrum here? Because the animals seem to see them sometimes when we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think that is when we're young, before our pineal gland is completely calcified. We see stuff. We see fairies in the garden, monsters under the bed.
My mother's seen a fairy come up from the drain, and I don't doubt her either. My mother wasn't really a liar, so there's that. So man. And when I was young, I seen all of that stuff. Yeah.
I think we're detuned, and look at how much light. What actually can we see? It's was it just 3%?
We don't even know. I think it's very limited, because even simpler creatures than us have more awareness than us, like
absolutely.
Like a snail going across a row with these two antennas. They can smell, sense, and set out some sort of like Wi-Fi of their environment.
Yeah,
They say,
absolutely.
a simple creature like that. It's just like, what? It's got like back tech. So, we're just locked into this really measly 4th century or 5. I think there's 6 senses. I think all of us are psychic.
I think so too. I think
education took it. I think education took it.
I think you're right. And I think, for the people out there that don't believe that we're telepathic, then all you've got to do is just recall in your mind the last time that you went to ring someone or message someone or reach out to someone that you haven't spoken to in a while, and just as you go to do it, they message you.
I know.
Now that happens a lot. Or you could be talking about someone you haven't seen for a while, and they suddenly appear. You'll see
a dream. Some I've done it recently. Dreamt about someone. I seen them the next day. So shit, I haven't seen them.
What is that? What is that? That's something that we have. That's part of us. That is our 6th sense. And I think it's just been hammered. Remote viewing as well, yeah. And also, I haven't been able to do it for a little while, but I used to lucid dream, and I found that really useful. I could problem solve during the night while I'm resting. I could problem solve, run through different scenarios, and come up with a solution by the time I woke up.
I did about 5 hours of making a vlog in my dreams last night, and then it got to the end, and it was like, that made no sense whatsoever, man.
I'll share something with you, actually, that I've never told anybody this, and I don't know why I'm going to do it now, but it seems right. Up until about 2 or 3 years ago, I used to meditate every morning, and I used to do it in the shower, because I'll sit in the shower for an hour. I actually had, in our last place, I had a shower built like a double shower and a seat made in there. It was all like these tiny little, mosaic tiles. And they made the plumber made this seat, and I would sit in there with all these jets blasting at me, and I would spend an hour in there every morning, and I'd meditate by just breathing technique. In through my nose for 5, out through my mouth for 10, and slow down, just keep counting. And the last time I was successful, I had what I can only describe as a very large praying mantis appear and start talking to me in a sort of clicking, weird kind of it was almost Arabic, but with clicking in it. And I was talking back. And I thought, am I hallucinating? Have I actually fallen asleep in the shower? Or is this actually happening? And I looked around, and it had gone, and I was back, but it was vivid. It was really vivid.
That's weird you said that, because I've just remembered when I was years ago, I must have been 15, 16. I was babysitting or looking after my niece Vicky, and she fell asleep on a settee, and she just started saying in ancient Sumerian. I shit you not, I was fucking spooked right out, in like a deep voice, like Asian language, like out of Indiana Jones or something. I'm like, oh fucking hell, what the fuck? Hey, wake up. She went, what's that? I was like, what the fuck? I was like, literally shit myself. And I never forgot it, because it was just so fucking weird. She channeled something when she was asleep. I'm telling you, she channeled some sort of fucking Asian fucking person, Asian spirit, and he was talking. And I was there, and I was like, fuck, hell. It was really spooky, yeah.
My youngest lad I think I told you this, my youngest lad during the first lockdown, he went off to Portugal. He buggered off to Portugal, and he went on a retreat with some shaman, and he wanted to do an ayahuasca ceremony. And there were 11 of them in this teepee up in the hills, and they all take ayahuasca, and they'd purged. They'd been sick. I mean, they're literally shitting themselves in buckets. All of this black stuff's coming out of them, so they're sort of purging, clearing their systems, and then they enter this sort of state. And he said that there was a Romanian girl there in the group, and all of a sudden they all started in sync. They all started singing an ancient Romanian nursery rhyme. Now, she was the only person, and she said herself that was an very old version of her language, and she didn't know the nursery rhyme, but she'd heard of it, but she didn't know it. They all sung it in harmony, all together at the same time. There's something going on. There's something.
So what
that we're not
process
aware of.
would make that happen? How would they all be able to tap into exactly the same data?
I have no idea. I've no idea. He said it was so strange, and literally said after that happened, one of the shaman went to literally. It must have. He said it must have been about a mile away, and he peeled. They're out in the middle of nowhere. He peeled an orange, and ate this orange, and then came back, and he said to them, "What could you sense?" And they all turned around and said, "We could smell oranges." And he said, brilliant. "You're so toxified. Your senses are so inhibited that you can no longer smell what you should be able to smell. You can't feel or see what you should be able to, or hear or think like you should, because of what's done to us." And he said that he always does that as some sort of test. But the other interesting thing that happened was when he got back from Portugal. He used to work in London, so he works for Barclays and the head office in London, but he works normally in the one in Northampton. He said he'd just be walking along the street and he'd see someone and they would look at him and he would look at them and he would know that they weren't us. And he said that they could tell.
Best not to let them know.
Yeah. And they would have a little look.
Avoid eye contact and don't let them know you know.
But I don't know if you've heard it, but he said that from taking the ayahuasca, he was able to sense certain people. He would see someone and he would say to himself, "You don't look right. You're not human. You're not supposed to be here. There's something not right with you." And they would know that he knew that. And he said you could tell. They became very awkward and they try and sort of turn away or
they run away
in a different direction.
Yeah, see what's going on. I know.
What's that about? He's not someone. I don't think he's told a lie in his life. He's actually dead straight. He'll actually say something even if it offends someone because he's just very, very honest. I can't think why he would make something like that up, but he said he just knows. He can walk in a room somewhere and he'll see someone and he'll know that they're not right. Yeah, there's something not right. Do you get that sometimes?
I had it today when I went out. I thought to myself, just be real, man. Just be rational and think. Is it me? Am I just being like paranoid, fucking conspiracy theorist? But look around and just look. And I looked really carefully, and something was just off. Completely different from the 80s and the 90s. It's not just the people. I mean, the vibration. There's like an anticipation lying underneath everything, where everyone's in Britain primarily, I reckon, or Europe. They're waiting for all of this trouble that is on the horizon. So there's that. So
it's in the air, isn't it?
It's in the air and it's tangible too, especially with the spring coming now. That's when they'll all kick off. Yeah. But
well, it's too cold to protest at the moment.
It's more than just the entropy of Britain and the lack of infrastructure of being repaired, or the rubbish, or the vandalism, or the dog shit. It's more than that. It's more than that they gave up on Britain. And on all of the other things that I could bring up, which I won't. It's more than that. They don't give a fuck about the future.
No. I think the people that are right at the very top have a very different future to us, and I think in their minds they think that they're going to survive whatever's coming. And if we look at people like Zuckerberg and Dwayne Johnson and people like that, they're all building underground bunkers. It's like they're waiting for something like the next deluge or apocalypse or something, end of days. They are waiting for something to happen. It's like they know. And my belief is that these people that buy themselves into positions of power or get to a position of power through wealth and success in business, people like Gates, they're never. they're not the bloodline families. They're not sat at the top table. But I think that although they perhaps aren't going to be looked after in the same way as, say, certain families are going to make sure they're okay, I think they get a head start. I think they get a warning. I think they're told,
I do too.
okay, you're doing your bit for us, so we're going to tell you what's going to happen, but you're on your own. So what we're going to tell you now is build a bunker, and you need to have it done by, I think, the 4th of July 2026. That's 250 years from New World Order starting in 1776. Satan's little season. A lot of people predict it's 250 years. So I think that's what's going on. So I think probably between now and then we're going to see a lot of things rushed through. They're now tightening the thumb screws here, aren't they? We were talking earlier on about benefits, cutting benefits, taking people's winter fuel allowance away, making the cost of living so painful for some households that, student nurses and teaching assistants and people that do vital jobs are having to use food banks and make the choice at Christmas whether to heat or eat. And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah,
but
I've
if they're
seen
not careful,
guy,
they'll tip the balance.
a guy living in a tent, and he was a nurse. He had to go to work every day. Yeah,
that's disgusting, isn't
they
it?
just can't pay the rent in where he was living. You can't pay the rent. They just making it. Not only did they make it impossible to pay the rent, they made it impossible to just get a normal job. Back in the day, I could just in the 90s give up a job on a Monday and be in another job on a Tuesday.
Oh yeah, I remember it well.
Yeah. But now it's all of this confangled, documentation. You got to have this CV, and you got and it's all of this just. And then the last job I went for, there was 16 people went for the job. I did get it, but it's just the odds of getting a job are astronomical anyway, because there's shiploads going for any, and that was just a crappy retail job, Yeah. So, really
I totally agree there.
And as you get older, then you're not really. If you're like nearly 60, they're not going to get much work out of you. And not only that, they realize that they can't push you around because you know the score. So there's that. Yeah,
exactly. And that is true, isn't it? The older you get, the less shit you'll tolerate.
Oh, sure.
And my sort of, I'm a lot more laid back than I was when I was younger. I was a lot more aggressive. I don't mean as in physically, but mentally. I worked really hard. I was always sort of pushing to get to the next stage I wanted to be at. I had road rage. I was always in a hurry. I pushed my way through to get served at a bar. Everything was sort of a little bit edgy. And now I can't be asked. And because of that, I'm more likely now to, rather than argue with an employer, I would be more likely to just stand up and say, do you know what? Shove it up your ass and just walk off. Because you get to the point you think, life's so short, I'm not going to spend it tolerating or listening to crap and putting up with people that don't bring me anything other than negativity. And I think the older you get, the more you appreciate the quality of other people and the value of other people and time.
I've invested and wasted so much time in negative people in my life, thinking that things would change. Narcissistic people, and giving my love and years of my attention, and getting absolutely not trying to change, just trying to understand and be a better, be a good person. But it's just, if it's not benefiting you and it's taking all your energy and making you even ill. People have made me ill just being around them. They've made me ill.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah,
I got to lay down. I can't take no more. You've just taken all my energy, just being around you. So, I when you get older, I've learned to. A lot of my friends are mostly dead now. I've outlived all my gang, and so it's just close family and friends that I've kept for years. That I trust and love.
It's quality, isn't it? It's quality over quantity.
Well, what it is they don't want nothing from me. And I don't want nothing from them. We're not forcing anything. We're just letting life just go, groovily by. It's when people lay down, oh, I wanted this, or I wanted that out of the friendship, or I wanted it just kills it. It just never happens. I've noticed. It's just let things happen. Things just work out. That's what I find.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, my sort of circle of friends, the older I've got, the smaller it's got, and the people that there are probably 3 people that message me every day. They'll send me a voice message. One is my wife's best friend's husband. We just get on, we initially because we had to, but we've actually become good friends. So he'll send me a message saying, "Have a good day, mate. What are you up to today? Are you writing? Are you on YouTube? You know what you do?" And it's just stuff. But the other one is my eldest son, and he lives in Canada. So I think he just wants to update me and keep in touch. And I think he is homesick but won't admit it. And he's very similar to me. So every day he sends me a little voice message just telling me what he did the day before and how work was. And the other one is Richard Vobes. Richard sends me 2 or 3 voice messages every single day just to tell me what he's doing, how am I doing, and how's the writing going, what rabbit hole have I climbed down, and that is it. The rest, it's maybe once a week I might hear from a couple of other people, maybe my brother, and then it dwindles and dwindles. And the only people that I communicate with regularly are people through my Facebook group where we're just sharing stuff about Tartaria. Have you seen this? Or have you seen this on Trump? Or have you seen this on human cloning or whatever? We share information, but actually talking to, saying, how you doing, what you've been up to today, I can count on one hand. But go back 20 years ago when you'd go down the pub and you knew half the people in it and they were all your mate, weren't they?
Still like it here. Still like it. My local pub is still 1980s prices, yeah. I mean, there's no cameras allowed in my pub. Yeah, they just got an alley, skittle alley, where all the boys, but it's only the Ely boys, and everyone just does their thing. And the jukebox is brilliant, massive loud, all the best records. You know, they all got good taste. Eagles, you know, AC/DC, it's all the oldies. And it's every time you go in there, it's like they have a karaoke. Every time it's an adventure going in there. It is.
I'd have to come and have a beer. I've not been in a pub like that for a long, long time.
Yeah, but they're very. It's like you wouldn't be able to come from another part of the city and just like walk in thinking you're brilliant.
Yeah,
you'd last 2 seconds, they kill you. You just be gone. So you can't, like, you know, they're just so happy-go-lucky and loosey-goosey that they're just like, if anyone's gonna fuck with our apple cart, you're gonna be. That's what they're like. It's brilliant. And, you know, there's not much else here, but I think my community is absolutely brilliant. I think where I live is absolutely brilliant. So I feel really safe. Yeah.
Well, I don't have a community. I live on a farm in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of
Tiverton, yeah?
Yeah, in between Tiverton and Exeter. So if I run out of milk, then I've got a 15-minute drive to the nearest shop.
Any cows in the field?
Sheep.
It's
just sheep. There's sheep farmers here. Yeah, there's two houses on the farm, and I'm in one of them, and we see the neighbours, you know, occasionally, but we don't hear anything. I can go days without seeing anybody. Just the odd car drive past, but yeah, and the tractor, you know, the farmer's son, he waves when he goes past on the tractor. But I can go days without seeing another person.
Wow.
And there is no pub here. There's nothing.
There's no pub. Oh, no, man. I don't go very often. I got no, basically, I don't really drink. It's not really me. But when I do go, it's a great adventure. But
I'm the same as you. I don't know if that's an age thing as well. I'm just not interested. When my youngest son, who did the ayahuasca ceremony, when he came down at the weekend, it was a surprise. We didn't know he was coming. So him and his girlfriend came down, and you know, she turns up and she's got a bottle of Prosecco to drink with my wife. Yeah. She doesn't drink much, and some bottles of Peroni. So stick them in the fridge, and I'll have a few of those. But then I won't drink again for another couple of weeks, and I might have one bottle of lager or beer, or I might go into a pub and have a pint of Guinness or something. But it's rare. I don't drink. I don't even have caffeine.
If I go out, right, even when I'm dressed up really nice, you know, and being really what I think is, you know, making an effort, and for some reason they all think I look like trouble, and then there's always like trouble, you know. with like bouncers, or I'm kicked out of nearly everywhere. Me, I just don't know. So,
I know a little bit about that. I think because I was a tattoo artist. I sort of retired really last year,
really?
and I've been a tattoo artist for years. I used to tattoo on a TV program called Tattoo Disasters on Channel 5. I used to fix people's bad tattoos, and I used to write for tattoo magazines. I used to teach. I nearly started lecturing at Kingston College in London on tattooing. They were going to bring out a degree in tattooing.
Anyone famous? Want to name drop anyone famous you tattoo?
No, not really. I did get to tattoo someone who I used to really love as a singer. It's a lad called Nate James. He was on The Voice actually to try and get his career going again. But about 20 years ago, Nate James, he was big. He was really big, independent soul artist. And he actually lived with Amy Winehouse years and years ago. When she first got kicked. When she first got kicked out. I've tattooed, and I used to follow rugby quite a lot, and I've managed to be lucky enough to tattoo a few England rugby players, a few footballers. Right. Wayne Rooney's physio, but no one really. And I'm just trying to think if I'm doing anyone a disjustice here, but no one that you would instantly go, oh my God, yeah, I know them. And I think it's because where I was, my tattoo studio was in a place called Newport Pagnell. A lot of people will know it as a services. Yes, it's just outside Milton Keynes. So there wasn't anybody famous there. Ian Beale and Sharon Watts from EastEnders. They're the only two famous people I can think of that you would see occasionally wandering around.
Shame is Alan Partridge is not passed through. He likes certain stations. I love that guy.
So do I.
Do you listen to Mid Morning Matters?
Oh, I do. Yeah, it's fantastic. With Sidekick Simon. Yeah.
Oh, the poor man.
And I used to like Michael as well, who worked in the petrol station.
Same.
And Alpha Papa. I thought that was a fantastic
film. That was a brilliant film when he's like, they could have took his gun at any time and he's like had a shower.
I know. From Pat, wasn't it? Pat. Yeah. And Michael shat in his lunchbox while he was in a cupboard.
I've had that happen to me. I've had that happen to me. On a building site, I had a fight over it. Yeah, this kid Greeny, man. I was starving hungry and opened my sandwich box and it was steam and stuff. It's like they all burst out laughing. It's not very funny, I know. Sorry for the viewers for that. Well.
So you know, I'm only 5'8". I was 5'9" when I was younger, but I am, you know, your spine compresses and you shrink a bit.
If I wasn't bandy, I got bandy legs from being at sea because I basically.
Have you?
Yeah, I got bandy legs for years at sea because I was like got sea legs.
Right, yeah, that is a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so I lost height. Yeah, so I'm about 5'9", no, about 5'12", something like that. Right, let me just.
I think because.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So I was just going to say. So yeah, I think from being a tattooist, you know, having lots of tattoos on me because obviously, I didn't pay for them. You know, I'd have a cancellation or an afternoon where I had no one booked in, and somebody else would be free, and we'd just tattoo each other. We wanted to try something new or a design we wanted to do. Wow. So I ended up quite heavily tattooed, and I'm still a little bit in the sort of 80s with my dress sense. So a lot of the times, you know, Fred Perry t-shirts and Adidas Gazelles and so people would look at me and say, "Oh, look, he's a skinhead." No, I shaved my hair because I've gone bald, and I have tattoos because I'm a tattoo artist.
And I still wear skinhead clothes. I still always Ben Shermans, nothing else. Back to my skinhead days. I still has my boots polished. I'm skinhead underneath all this hippie stuff. Let me tell you. My cherry reds are polished upstairs.
Yeah, but then you know I wear a Harrington, I wear a Parker, I've got a Crombie.
Yeah, I got Crombie. Yeah.
I just liked the style, and I was into it.
Same, you know, as a kid. It was so smart. All of it. Yeah, I used to love my two-tone suit. I thought I was like literally the best thing on earth with my two-tone suit, my tonic suit. I had. Oh my God. And the stay press, remember them? White stay press.
Yes, I do. Do you remember Zoots? Do you remember Zoots? Yeah. Oh, do you know what? I've just forgotten his name, but I used to love obviously Madness as a kid I loved, but
same.
the specials for me.
Yeah,
I love
Terry
the specials.
Terry Hall's died now.
I met him. I tattooed his cousin,
Okay.
and we went to. He was actually DJing at a club in Northampton, and we went in the evening, and we went because he was DJing it. It was a sort of ticketed gig, and I said to one of the bouncers, I said, "Is there any chance I could just say hello to Terry?" And they said, "Well, no, not really. He's not talking to anyone," because he was quite reclusive. He was quite introverted.
Yeah, he was very introverted for a singer.
He got kidnapped as a child when he was 12, and he was on a school trip to France, and he actually got kidnapped there, and he spent 2 years in France before they tracked him down and got him back home to England.
Wow.
And it just screwed him up. He remained sort of like quite
really
heavily
reserved. Yeah, really quiet.
and he wasn't until that happened. But so I said I just wanted to say hello to him. And the bouncer said, "Well, who are you?" And I said, "Well, could you tell him that I tattooed his cousin today, Carla?" And she said she would let him know that I was coming. And bouncer goes and tells him. He comes over to me, lifts me onto the stage, and I just stood there with him while he was DJing for a bit. Wow, and I said, "You know what? As a kid, you were my hero. I think you're a fucking legend." And he just looked at me and he went, "Thanks." And he said nothing at all. He just stared at me and nodded occasionally.
I would have said,
so awkward.
I would have said this. I said, I see you in Cardiff, and I got knocked unconscious, so I missed half the gig. They dragged me out by my foot. Yeah, fighting with a docks boy, Greenie. Yeah, man, it got really ugly. Maybe 50 people got injured. Really bad. I got knocked out.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, man, the specials concert kicked right off. Mentally, Cardiff. But then the Fun Boy 3 left me in a bit of a bad way.
Yeah. It never
so I would have
well
to mention that. It's like, you know, it ain't what to do, it's the way that you do it. It's like you turned into Bananarama. What happened?
Bananarama, yeah. I know.
Stockick and Waterman.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it just smelt of Rick Astley, didn't it?
It stunk of Rick Astley, yeah. Not there's anything wrong with Rick Astley.
No.
I think what he's done recently has been very good, and he's very talented, multi-talented man, you know. But that's Stockick and Wharton and business models. I looked into that, how they were creating they were literally doing jumbles of words and then putting them all back together again. It was literally no thought into it or context whatsoever. It was just jumbled words. It was all.
They let everyone have a go, didn't they? There was one called Kavanagh who brought out a song which actually I quite like, MFEO. He was the T-boy. Anyone at Stockick or Waterman could have a go if they fancied it, and they churned them out there. And then Pete Waterman did that TV program where it was in a nightclub called The Hitman and Her.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yeah. I watched the couple, yeah.
But we used to have some cool TV programs like that. We had The Hitman and Her, The Tube.
We
used to watch The Tube.
Every single one. Fucking hell, Paulie Yates was amazing.
Brilliant. The
best. And The Word was okay as well.
The Word, that was
with
good.
Terry Christensen, he was way on it when he had some people. I used to always like to see Oliver Reed coming on drunk.
I know. Yeah, he's fantastic, wasn't he? And then, to be fair, sort of late 80s, it was still, I think it probably was late 80s, it was pretty good with TFI Friday with Chris Evans. There was still some quite good stuff going on there. It's all
the
gone.
Big Breakfast, like Denise Van Houten. Do I even need to say any more than that?
Yeah. Denise Van Houten and Johnny Vaughan, wasn't it?
Johnny Vaughan. It was just brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, man.
My mate's wife ended up presenting that. What's her bloody name? Why have I forgotten it? Sharon Davis.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
My friend was married to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
How jammy is that? He definitely sold it all.
He said when they got divorced, he said that she, typically everything's split in half. He said, but the one thing that he paid for that he never got half of was her boob job. Because he paid for her to have her boobs done. Yeah, and he said, she didn't give me half of them, did she? Took him to the cleaners, took my mate to the cleaners.
Eventually, all that silico goes to their brain and they go a bit scatty later on. I've noticed it.
I think you're right there. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Right, back to the context for a little bit, shall we?
Yeah. Things were better in the past, Martin, weren't they?
I missed
in
it.
every aspect.
I said earlier that that I wasted time, but I think I'll take that back. Everything that has happened to me, I regret nothing, and everything that's happened, good or bad, it was all just to get me to learn, to bring me to this point. You know, I'm so different. You know, like you as Mr. Pushy going through the bar. I was a fucking twat. I would like literally plot how to make this place go bang, like a nutter for years. I don't even know what was wrong with me, you know, and I'm just not. You know, I literally had a chaos field. You know, people died for fuck's sake. It was just absolute carnage what went on behind me, and it was all to do with me, and it was nothing to do with me. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is gone. That I'm just chill now. I don't want, you know, the ego that I was a merciless slave to. That was just a coping mechanism in a world full of psycho bullies. Yeah. So I, you know, that was because I thought, well, this is how you win. You should just be nuttier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just don't want to fuck with you. So that was my thing for years. Now I've reached a stage now when I don't need any of it. I know my capabilities. I know what my mind's capable of, my body's capable of. I know what I pretty much got all the t-shirts in this place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. So nothing to prove, you know, just mosey on through with this whatever we're doing here with the truth, which is, I was thinking about that. It's like, why does it bug me that history's a lie? But if you dig right in, you know, think about the fundamentals of who we are, it alters everything. It alters everything, you know. It's like, okay, so they fabricated the past. What? It's like that. Just saying them words in one sentence is it's just mind-blowing to say it. But it's true, and I have. And then there's being like, we don't even know when we are, where we are, what we are. It's just like, what the fuck is this place?
Yeah. I think I get asked a lot. So what? So what? You uncover a previous civilization that's been deleted from our history pages, and you know, and so what if we landed on the moon or didn't? And so what if the Earth's flat and it's all been a lie? And I say, you know, and so what? What in the end? What changes? And I always say the same thing: if they're prepared to lie about something like that, then they'll lie about anything. And the sooner people realize that we are lied to and everything that we know is a lie, it's all inverted and things have been twisted, they'll stop following orders. This obey gene that seems to be quite present in perhaps not people like you and I so much, but certainly in the majority of people, there is this obey gene. You will stay indoors for the next 3 months. You will go and take this medical intervention. You will do this. You will do that. For some of us, we struggle. We think that isn't right. I don't agree with that, so I'm not doing it.
No, I won't.
And too many people will just go with it. And I think to get those people to break through, we need to expose what's been going on. And to find a subject like Tartaria, or you just brought up that Cabbage Patch post.
Did you see that? That's what I wanted to ask. Did you see it? Well, what it is, I don't know if I show this, that it's actually going to present to when I show this tomorrow. Yeah, well, it should do, but it's just the other day, it was like they've done all the change in the configurations and it came through as nothing there at all. But you can see that, right?
No, I did. Yeah. Cabbage seed. Yeah.
Yeah, so they got these cards out. Initially, when I first heard about it, I was like, what? Are they saying that they're like coming out of like actual cabbages? But then I remembered these and the obsession with them. Can you remember that?
I can. Yeah, very well. Nice. Yeah, Xavier
Wasn't
Roberts.
It? Yeah, exactly. They were worse.
He stole the idea.
Did he now?
That whole thing's a ripoff. Yeah, the backstory to him is pretty weak. I've just written a chapter on him. I did some deep digging into him, and he stole the idea from someone. He was apparently at 20 years old. He is running a big toy store, which is unlikely. And he goes to a sort of trade fair and he sees these cabbage type dolls, does a deal with the woman that's making them, and then starts mass producing them. This is just not very likely. And then he contacts someone who's a marketing whiz, who comes up with a backstory, a story to how these were created. And this little book comes out. And what he says, right, is that in this story of the Cabbage Patch dolls, is that Xavier Roberts, as a young boy, he's walking through some forest. He sees a waterfall. He gets through the waterfall, and there's an entrance to somewhere, but it's covered in vines. And he cuts through these vines, gets to the other side, and it's full of cabbages with babies growing in them. And all of a sudden, there's these, I can't remember what they're called, bunny bees, sprinkle this magic dust all over these cabbages. The babies come to life, and one of them turns around to him and says, "Please take us with you back to wherever you came from, or we're going to go and have to work down the mine." Miners.
Yeah.
All those kids.
Yeah, miners. Why do they call miners miners?
Yeah, because it was children. Yeah. And it's all very weird. And the other dark thing with it is, I mean, there's a lot to the whole Cabbage Patch doll. You buy your kid a Cabbage Patch doll and they break it, and you send it back to the manufacturer. If they can't repair it, they return it to the child with a death certificate.
What?
Yeah, that happens. Your child is given a broken toy with a death certificate.
Wow, like it's a living thing.
Yeah, and when you buy one, you adopt it. You're not buying it; you're adopting. Wow. You adopt it. Yeah, you get an adoption certificate.
Tamagotchis, remember them? Tamagotchis. People used to babysit them and stuff. But wow. So yeah. This is
the lady in red.
What's that then? What's that? I don't know. I haven't really looked into Cabbage Patch.
Right. So these are based upon films by Alice Guy called The Cabbage Patch Fairy and The Midwife to the Upper Classes. She was the first, pioneer filmmaker, French filmmaker. Her backstory is weak. Very weak backstory there. She was inspired by Martin Cooney, who had the incubator babies at the World's Fairs, showing you all of these babies in these incubators, where you could actually buy one of them. And that's where she got the inspiration from. They say that in some of these postcards, it's her. There you go. There's repopulation. There's that father's cane. And these are called repopulation postcards, and they'll say that it was because of the wars that had happened that they needed to repopulate. They were trying to encourage people to have more children because they'd lost so many men through the Napoleonic Wars and then the First World War and lots of civil wars that broke out. The whole Cabbage Patch thing goes back to Slavic folklore and mythology, where boys come from cabbage seeds and girls come from rose seeds. But there's a lot more to it than that, and it's quite complex. With the cabbage, there's also Celtic mythology and folklore. And on Cabbage Night, which was changed to Mischief Night, the night before Halloween, what girls would do is they'd go into someone's garden that was growing cabbages, pick a cabbage. The quality of the cabbage determined the quality of their future husband. And then they would throw it at the neighbour's door and run away.
Wow.
There's all of these things, and they say the reason they use a cabbage because it represents a womb. No, it doesn't. No, how does a cabbage look like? It doesn't look like a womb, does it? And then the cabbage was replaced with the pumpkin. Well, that might be more womb-like. It's hollow.
No, it looks nothing like a womb.
It doesn't really, does it? No. But yeah, so they're using a lot of mythology, a lot of folklore. It's all twisted. But people say that they were breeding. It was a repopulation program, and that they were actually cloning babies. These babies then went to baby farms and ultimately orphanages, and then sent on the orphan trains and distributed through America. I mean, the orphan train movement there, that the narrative states 250,000 kids were moved from New York into mid-West America to work on farms and mines. So if the narrative states 250,000 children, chances are it was double.
So that's 1 million parents. Where do you think they got to?
Well, I think that there
never had any parents to begin with.
I think that most of them wouldn't have had parents. A lot of them came over as orphans. And of course, you can wipe with a child at a very young age, if it's a clone or if it's actually a child that is taken when it's newborn. Then they can be given a whole new narrative that you can teach them history that didn't happen. But
well, that's
I
what's
think
going on in the schoolrooms. All of these kids in
Yeah.
uniforms, the exact same narrative. The whole world's over, evolution,
Yeah.
Big Bang. Well, that come later, but you know what I mean. These
totally. Yeah.
repeated narratives and fake history, I should say.
I think with Tartaria that the Civil War certainly finished off quite a lot of the men, and then there were a lot of acts of genocide. There were famines, there were plagues, there were different pandemics, and what they cleverly did was they introduced the Lunacy Act. So, and that meant that if you lost your husband in war, then they would take your children away, because you were considered, one of the reasons you could be considered as insane was for losing your husband in battle.
Wow. And that was grounds to take your child.
You're locked up in an asylum, the children become property of the state, and then they ship them off.
What about world population now? What do you think about that now? Because I seen the North Korean dictator. I seen him yesterday bawling and crying on YouTube because apparently nobody's having any babies, and he's saying, "Please make babies, we're dying," because there's not enough people there. And China is saying exactly the same, and Japan are selling more adult nappies than they are child nappies.
Yeah, they do say Japan is going to end up sort of almost wiping itself out, don't they? In China, we know that they were restricting, well, not restricting, but
that's only in the cities, but in the provinces, people were having multiple.
So it didn't happen in the provinces.
Yeah. No.
So wasn't it that they were just not financially supporting more than one child?
Yeah, that's what it was. But later on, it's two now anyway. So
I don't believe that the population's anywhere like it is. I mean, if you were to, and I know that we tend to congregate in cities, and areas do become quite built up. But you've only got to go on a plane and fly around the world to see that most of the time when you look down on land, it's empty. There's nothing there.
No, nothing.
So I think it's a lie. I also think there's probably a lot more land mass out there than we've been told.
Same.
There may be continents out there that we're just not allowed to fly or sail.
You could be there. Oh, we know in the middle of
exactly. And we've got this whole Atlantis thing going on. I mean, for me, Atlantis, I can't help thinking that surely for it to be called Atlantis, that it would have been connected somehow to the Atlantic.
Yeah. Well,
so is it smack bang in the middle of
Plato again, isn't it? They're going by. But I had a little snap thing last night where I jumped up quick like that. I went, ooh, is that what's going on? All of this massive, investment in money to try and disprove flat Earth by sending flat earthers and a load of people down to Antarctica to witness a 24-hour sun to get everyone thinking about Antarctica as literally being the total content of the entire flat Earth community for the last 3 months has been Antarctica. Nobody is thinking about the North.
Yeah.
To keep everyone's mind off the North. Could be,
and that is how they do it.
Look, Trump wants Greenland. How do you know he's fucking not right next to the Hyperborean? And that's why he's so anxious to annex Greenland. Who give a shit about Greenland before then? And all of this weirdness that's going on with whatever Trump's up to.
I get. I was saying to you earlier on that every day someone tells me, "Oh, Trump's great. Trump's doing this. Trump's doing that," and I just think, well. That's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
But we've got no idea. And what makes me even more uncomfortable about Trump is his little sidekick, Elon.
Yeah, sure. Same here. Who do you think is pushing the purse strings? Who do you think is telling them what to do? Because they're obviously just actors and puppets, and he hasn't got time to go and think shit because he's basically sat in the Oval Office talking bollocks all day. He's been prepared for that in makeup an hour before, and then he goes off to his husband's Melinda, whatever the name is, Melina, and so he ain't got time to do anything really. So he's just acting, sign a few orders, maybe make it look like it's all going to be like it's all real.
So who does he report to? Who pulls the string? This is difficult,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because this is
They
something
used to
that...
say it was Britain, but it's not, obviously.
Oh, no, no. I think the British Empire, the British Empire, the Roman Empire, which is the Vatican, I think that they're still very much alive and well. The City of London, I mean, it is, it's independent of the UK, isn't it? It does its own thing, but
same as Washington DC, whoever they are as well.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. It's exactly the same as the City of London, isn't it?
I was
the way it
wondering,
operates.
If the French have the Statue of Liberty back, does that mean Britain gets the colonies back?
Oh, that's a good one.
I know.
So who's pulling the strings? Now, I wrote some notes on this a little while ago. I'm trying to see if I can find them.
Do you think it's the Ottomans?
No.
Jews?
No.
Crypto
No, I
Jews?
don't.
No. So
no, I don't think so.
Do you think it's people from or non-people?
Yeah.
From outside,
I think
who control it, who give the orders.
I think if we look at the Illuminati, that like in Freemasonry you've got 33 degrees, and there are 33 known degrees, and the same with the Illuminati, 33 degrees, but then they actually have 42. There are hidden degrees, and they say that once you get into the hidden degrees, that they tell you who actually is in charge, and you report to them. And in a lot of these things, they actually do refer to it being an invisible being, something that you can't see, but it's a being. I've done a little bit of research on it, but my life is full of notebooks and trying to bloody I bet you're exactly the
Lady
same.
Di said they're not human.
She did. She famously said that, didn't she? I just think, if I could find my bloody notes.
Oh, look at that over the door there of this orphanage.
Oh yeah, they were always put on parade outside Masonic lodges, always, and that tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? Really. Why can't I find my notes?
I carry them round with me. They just go everywhere with me.
Do you?
Yeah, man. And I keep them by the side of the bed.
Here we go.
In case something just comes to mind. I write every single, even if I think it might not be important, I write it down because it might be later. That's what I find.
I've got notepads everywhere. It's just trying to find what I've got. So here we go. So in mainstream Freemasonry, we know we've got these 33 degrees, and I got to 3rd degree, which is what they call Master Mason, and people consider that to be high. Someone today said to me, "Oh, you were a high-ranking Freemason. I've read your book and you mentioned it." I said, "No, I didn't." I said, "I got to Master Mason." That's 3rd out of 33, and 33 to get to 33. That you have to, that's honorary, that's invitation only, that's not something that happens.
It's not like, is that right? From 32 to, there's no more information, is there, from 32 to 33? It's just that's just an honorary position.
You become at 33. I can't remember what they call it. What's the 33rd called?
Grandmaster,
Sovereign Grand Inspector General.
Wow.
In Scottish Rite, so basically 1st to 3rd degree, which is what most Freemasons are. They're 1st, 2nd, or 3rd degree. 4th to 32nd degree is what they call Scottish Rite. And that they then say, but there are different possibilities here. Some people say that that actually what happens is the Rosicrucians
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to be.
I'm following your line of mental inquiry.
Yeah.
I was right there with you. Yeah.
There are links to the Martinists as well.
Well, the Martinists was I got a book from the Martinists. They were a branch of the Rosicrucianist movement. Yeah, man. Wow.
Well, they reckon that they report to. Who do they report to? Superiors in Conus, the unknown superiors, and it's a group of people, possibly extraterrestrial, that they're invisible. The invisible hierarchy of enlightened beings, and the possibly extraterrestrial. They guide and control the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations, and the Vatican's secret orders. So there you go. So whoever these superiors in Conus or unknown superiors are, they are the ones pulling the strings, from what I can understand. Now, to some people, that's the demiurge, the false god that rules the material world. To others, they're reptilians or greys. Some conspiracy theories suggest it's the archons of Gnostic law, non-humans that control through illusion. Some say, and this goes back to Amun-Ra or Marduk, the Anunnaki, that it is the Rothschilds. It actually is the Rothschilds. The Elders of Zion, the Jesuit Superior General, the Black Pope, which is Pepe Orsini, I believe.
Oh, tell me about that. Yeah, I was picking a bit on that, but I don't really know. Can you tell us?
Oh, the Pepe Orsini.
That's really strange. Yeah, that what you were telling me when I was on your channel, but I didn't get the context and I haven't looked. So
well, you know, a lot of people just think that there is just this one Pope, the white Pope, but there isn't. There's a grey and a black, and the one to look at, the one to look into is Orsini. That is a bloodline. That's pretty serious. He keeps himself well out of the news, but he is the Black Pope. He's the head of the Vatican, head of the Jesuit order, the Black Pope, Pepe Orsini. You go onto Google Images, you'll find maybe a couple of pictures of him. He is well. Oh, here we go. So is this time travel or cloning?
Like I said, I think they only got X amount of templates.
So many molds.
Honestly, it's people just look the same to me, and I'm not being just facetious when I mean this. I mean, I thought this when I was a child. So you could go to another city, and then I'd see someone who reminded me exactly of another person in my city, and they'd say the same. You remind me of someone. You look like my mate. Yeah. How many times you get that? It's just like there's a finite template for copies in this place, you know, for different people. So that's just too uncanny, isn't it?
It is. So let's say the man on I mean, that's one of my favourites of Steve Martin.
I love Steve Martin.
Is it possible that the person on the left was a bloodline family and had the technology or had the ability to travel or clone themselves or is immortal?
I think that they're all in on it. And I think this Hollywood sect, you know, I wondered why, for a start off, why Michael Jackson marries Elvis Presley's daughter, buys the Beatles back catalogue, and everybody seems to be related and going out or marrying everybody else in the circuit.
Yeah.
It seems.
Yeah.
And because they're all the same bloodline, you know, you look.
They are related.
Yeah, Katy Perry, her uncle is one of the Rothschilds. So, you know, there's the connection there. But I think that there's a big secret going on there. Have you noticed this, right? That when you see a Hollywood movie star in a movie, they grab you, they're fantastic, you know, they can do this. Like, you know, I watched Conan the Barbarian last night. It was fucking brilliant. Man, it was brilliant. The scenes in there, no AI, it was just brilliant.
His dad's worth looking into.
Wasn't he in the Gestapo?
Yeah. Apparently Hitler's cousin or someone. I don't know. There's something there.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, but you see these people like, you know, Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, it doesn't matter on these chat shows, and they're dense. They just got no pizzazz, no personality. And they'll try to give themselves. I noticed it with Nicolas Cage. He started kung fu kick in the air and made himself look really like he had learning difficulties, like to try and make a persona because they had none, which I find weird because in the film they grab you, you know, because Hollywood is the dream makers. So I think there's something going on with that. You know, I thought it was something to do with drugs. You know, when they say people like literally go into their roles and become the role, like Joaquin Phoenix with Joker.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's more to it all. I think there is this secret club. I think they're all definitely related somewhere. This bloodline.
Yeah, I think so too. Brad Pitt's supposed to be like, they're all cousins of the British royal family, aren't they? Well, they're all connected. Even Madonna.
I haven't got evidence for this, but I just got on YouTube. I think it was Eric Dubé that said it, that all US presidents, not only do they have to be related to the British royal family, like Trump's, not Trump, George Bush's second cousin to the royal family, but they got to be related to Charlemagne the Great, the Gaul. So why is that? I don't know. So it is about the bloodlines.
It is.
You know, I was thinking, you know, since 2020, I thought, oh, they're just looking for someone. They're literally doing a worldwide screen sweep to find out who everybody is. They're looking for certain blood groups in this place because not everyone's the same. I've noticed that some people can't be hypnotized and not falling into the you know, the matrix, and they can see, you know, what everyone else can't see. It's like, you see it? It's like, what? They can't. So then it's like,
it's a strange one for you. And I talked to my wife about this the other day. When I first met my mother-in-law, she's not on the internet. She's not down rabbit holes. She's not reading, you know, stuff on Reddit or on BitChute or anything. And this is I'm talking 30 years ago. She said to me that she was Rh negative. She had Atlantean blood.
Well, my sister is.
Well, where would somebody who isn't into conspiracy, who's not sort of absorbing David Icke's material and looking at the same stuff as me, where would they come out with, I've got Atlantean blood from? Now, like my wife said, this was told to her by her parents. Now, there's something in that. And I think that it wasn't just swabbing people in 2020 to you know, find out what's going on with them, but I think ancestry.com has been doing this as well.
Yeah, I think there's something going on with that.
Yeah, send your DNA in. I think they're looking for bloodlines. And also, I don't know if are you aware of the blood group Rh null? 43 people in the world have it. Both parents have to have it for the child to have it. Now that blood group, they call it golden blood.
Okay.
That is as rare as it gets. That, I think, is what they're looking for. I think they're looking for a particular bloodline. What they're going to do with that, the people that they find, I don't know. Are they going to bring them into their fold and say, you're one of us, you know, you welcome, we've got you're here for a bigger there's a bigger meaning for you? Or are they going to say, right, now it's time for achrome, we're going to be harvesting you? They're looking for something. And ancestry.com, it's important that people understand, if they are thinking of sending their DNA off or putting their data into ancestry.com, that is Black Stone, who used to be part of Black Rock.
Black Rock? Oh,
yeah. So that's Black Stone. Now, these people are involved in bioweapons, big pharma. If you want to specifically design a bioweapon that will target certain sectors, certain races, certain ethnic groups, certain blood types, that is exactly what you want to do. Send your DNA into ancestry.com and then wait and see what the next pandemic brings, or what they put into food, or what they chemtrail where you live, or your water supply. It's dangerous, because that company only normally invests in pharma, fossil fuels. They promote themselves in the World Economic Forum as being big into alternative energy and trying to save the planet, which they're not.
Rare earth metals. That's where, yeah, that's going to cause wars, because that's what it's about now. That's what their minerals they want in Ukrainistan. They want it is rare earth metals for the devices. Or Huguenots. There's something going on with that.
The Huguenots. There you go. So what have you got there? King Charles II of Spain?
Yeah,
Habsburgs,
exactly that.
The Habsburgs.
Wow.
Yeah.
I believe you know that too. That's amazing.
So you know, an opportunity for someone who's severely different. He used to dribble and all sorts, so he was impotent. And he actually used to get his servants to go and get he got them to get the remains of his family, his deceased family. They dug them up, brought them out, and he would sit with them and just have dinner with them. Absolutely bizarre. But he dribbled when he talked, and
Oh my God.
massive breeding going on. The bloodline. I mean, Cleopatra was as bad. Yeah, she married
What?
2 of her brothers.
What? I thought she spoke 12 languages and was like mega mensa.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the
Huh.
bloodline, she wanted to keep the bloodline going. Yeah, that's another good one.
Oh God, he's a right little. This is another dynasty.
Baldwin.
Yeah, but how many brothers have you got that are actors? And then
About 4 or 5. Yeah, they're all at it, aren't they? Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah.
But he's like, did you remember when he screamed like really weirdly at his daughter? It's like you can't talk to other people like that in that case. But yeah, they do this Hollywood roasting, don't they? Have you ever seen that Hollywood roasting? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It just calls one another out for the gnarly shit they do. But these were the biggest business model on earth, man. I've been following it. The story is just insane. It's got so many sideways, you know, connections with Manson and Eagles and all these different weird things. But I feel that you know, the biggest investment on it, they were earning billions. And then he's like, this guy's not going to go with it because he's really gentle. Yeah. Apparently he was like really shy and gentle, blah, blah, blah. And then this guy, this next one, Billy Shears, is a total asshole.
Billy Shears, yeah.
Yeah. But no, you know, I've been watching them, you know, some of the music they did in the recording studios was shit. It was absolute shit. And then George Harrison comes in with something, you know, something
Yes.
Way, and instantly everything
That's
changed.
a beautiful song, man.
It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. Even thinking about it, I'm getting goose pimples. It's just that beautiful. And they were like pure jello because he was so cool and he got that track, best on the album. Well, homunculus then is the alchemical formula for. I heard something on a show 2 nights ago where they said that in the alchemical days there was a compound that you could take that would make you poop gold.
Really? I've not heard that one.
Yeah, it was very intriguing. And, you know, like alchemical transmutation, which is really interesting because there's an old movie from the 70s called Holy Mountain, really trippy, weird film. But they show you a guy like literally making shitting gold in it. I'm not even joking. So, you know, maybe that's part of their alchemical transmutation is the human ability to shit gold, like the Midas touch.
Yeah, the Midas. Yeah, can you imagine that though? If everything you touch did turn to gold,
Wow.
I mean that's going to become very inconvenient, isn't it?
You'd have to be careful going to the toilet.
Yeah, and I think eating. You know, how do you eat? The homunculus is an interesting one. In Jewish mythology, it's called a golem, Golem. And it's the concept is that, and John Dee, I mean, lots of people, it inspired Mary Shelley to write Frankenstein. That the homunculus is this male sperm, and it's put in in one of those sort of, I can't remember what they're called, sort of, with horse manure, and left for 40 days, and it forms this little creature, and these creatures. In Jewish mythology, actually they're clay. It's a clay figure. You make this clay figure, and then you write the secret name of God on its forehead. You scribe it on the forehead, and that is what brings it to life. It's the same sort of thing. It's me.
Yeah, that's why this is going to be linked up. You know, obviously, get over to Guy's channel and give him a subscribe, guys. Definitely worth a look. I'm intrigued, and you actually do research, which I find infinitely fascinating.
I do. Yeah.
You do, and you interact with your audience. I'm very impressed with that sort of thing, because you know there's all too many YouTubers that just don't bother with the community, and it's just all about them. So
yeah, and you know, I can think a few immediately come to mind. I mean, you mentioned one before we came on that, reeks of that. But no, I do, because I think that. You know, yes, it's important that I sell books because I need to earn a living, and you know that is how I earn a living. YouTube will not touch me; they won't monetize me. I've been fighting with them; they won't. They say that I'm putting harmful content out. And I said to them, if there's anything you can find that's considered harmful, can you let me know so I take it down? And they said, well, there's not anything specific. And I said, well, let me know which video is up there that's considered harmful. I'll remove it. I've got no intention of removing anything, but I thought I would just see which one they were referring to. And of course they can't. And it's because of what I'm saying. You know, I'm sort of calling people out. I'm calling out the Jesuits, the Freemasons, you know, and a lot of politicians, and I'm asking questions that people, I suppose, find uncomfortable. But for me, although I need to sell books to get paid and to be able to pay my bills, what I'm trying to do, you know, if I won the lottery today, I would still be doing this tomorrow.
Same.
I want people to wake up. I want people to know what's happened, and by writing and getting these books out there, I'm hopefully waking a few people up, and they can see exactly what happened when we were last reset, because they're trying to do it now. And if I can show people how they did it last time, and actually the extent of what they did by wiping an entire civilization out, then they'll be aware. It's sort of forewarned is forearmed. And Max Eigen, who I haven't spoken to him for a few years now, but he was someone who really got me into the whole Tartaria subject. And I said to him, I get so frustrated. I'm trying to tell people about Tartaria, and not everybody wants to listen. And some people think that, you know, who cares? It doesn't matter, or I'm talking crap. And he said, brother, if you can just wake one person up, you might have saved a life. So I will reply to everybody that contacts me or emails me or comments, because it's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
If someone's going to take the time to say thank you, or ask me a question or share something with me, I think I if I got to a point where I was getting bombarded, and I do get a lot of messages and emails, and sometimes it takes me a couple of weeks to reply, I would employ someone to do some of to do some of the shite that I struggle with, like uploading something onto YouTube, or sodding around trying to get something to fit for my thumbnail, or
that's the word. Well, that one there, the title and the thumbnail, takes up shitloads of my time. You know,
it's hard, isn't it?
It's really hard.
Yeah. What do I call this one? Because we spoke about 8 different things. You know, that you can be stumped on that for fucking hours, surely.
Well, I'll get a good thumbnail for tomorrow. Don't worry, I'll sort it out.
But it is, do you know what I mean? If I got to a point where I was able to employ someone to help me, then I would reply to everything a lot faster, and I would still do it. And if I got to
that, but
I'm just not there. It's
not that. It's just like, you know, other YouTubers I know, and that they've got like entire teams to like literally make videos, set everything up in the background, and do all the shit for them. Yeah, and I've been doing this on my Tods with no help whatsoever for 10 years, but I feel proud of it. You know, I love my channel. I love what I've accomplished, and I know it's all on my back. So there's that.
Yeah.
You know? So there's that. So as for like getting, I wouldn't want anyone in my, you know, do my emails. And as for comments,
no, it's just the stuff that I struggle with.
Yeah, thousands of comments. You know, I get thousands of comments, but I just time everything. I'll spend a couple of hours doing the comments, a couple of hours Facebook, a couple of hours, and then the rest of the day on my research, and then I'll end the night back in comments. You know, this is like, I only have a few fucking hours off, mate. I'm like 4 or 5 hours sleep, and I'm thinking about it when I'm a fucking sleep, and then bam, back to it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. What was I doing today? I was supposed to be replying to people, catching up with my emails. I started doing that, and then within literally, where did I write it down? I started looking at something you might know about this more than I do. I started looking at the bell tower and the Basilica of San Marco. It imploded. It actually imploded at 9:52 a.m. in 1902. One of the biggest libraries of rare and unusual books in the world, considered the tallest building in the world. And it imploded in exactly the same way as a couple of buildings did a few years back in New York.
I seen the picture.
I've been looking
It's
at
like,
that.
wow. I honestly, that was all new to me. I've never seen any of that. That's incredible. One of the biggest, highest
Yeah,
buildings in the world.
it was the tallest building in the world, the biggest library of rare and very unusual books, all destroyed. Everything destroyed, and it imploded. Nobody knows how or why. It just imploded.
Yeah, it's
Didn't
just like the National
explode,
Records,
imploded.
1902, in Birmingham. The National Library of Birmingham, 1902, burnt down with all
In
of the
19
records for Britain prior to that point. Birmingham
That's
Library,
interesting.
same year.
So same year.
Yeah.
What's going on in 1902 then? Was that a smaller reset?
Well, some sort of schism. There's been many because there's shitloads of companies just like appear in 1902. And not only that, there's very, very little publication in that period for like literally from 1901, 1902, 1903. There's like nobody seems to be doing anything. It's like something's happened.
Yeah.
Another event that happened was the Galveston event, the Galveston tsunami, if you like.
Yeah, I've heard of that, but I've not delved.
Yeah. What else? 1902. It's just so many. It's just I downloaded these pictures today and back into the research thing, and it just hit me. It's just nobody even questions why all American cities got completely burnt out. But if you look into like why isn't this the same story for Britain?
Oh, sorry.
It is. Yeah, brilliant.
Always, yeah. People just aren't asking
Britain's fires.
Well, we had an awful lot of fuss.
Newcastle and Gateshead gutted by fire, 1800s. Leeds, the Great Fire of Leeds, the library. Have you seen these?
Yeah, it's everywhere. Do you know what? Yeah. Even Tiverton, even the little market town Tiverton, where we used to live, just up the road, that had a fire. The whole town was destroyed.
Fire of London,
Yeah. And if they've been playing around with our timeline and Anatoly Fomenko is right and they added 1,000 years to it, then that would have taken place in 666.
Yeah, that's right. But if you think of it in the perspective of now, that we're seeing like entire cities like eradicated, and I can't even remember that hasn't happened in my lifetime in Britain, but 150 years ago, it seemed to be common. All of these cities were going up. It's just
destroying the evidence.
Get
rid of the buildings, have lots of civil wars, then the Napoleonic Wars, then the American Civil War, and then finish it off with
famine and plagues and pestilence into the narrative.
Absolutely. And then look at the First and Second World Wars, and the Second World War in particular, the damage they did to just Dresden. That didn't justify. It wasn't a threat. There wasn't anything going on there. It was sort of a refugees and really a hospital city.
Possibly 1 million people in that city.
Yeah.
You know that? Possibly.
Yeah.
Because it was a refuge. They said there was up to 500,000 there anyway.
Yeah.
From other cities, Hamburg and everywhere, all the big cities went to. They was assured that it would be a safe haven and it wouldn't be bombed. So they all went there.
The first day they did the bombing there was something called Fasching going on, which was a parade. It was a children's parade, and it was the same day every year, and that was the day they picked to flatten it.
And it's like the name like cachets.
Yeah, it was children.
Check this out, right? Let me just show you this. I've been talking. There was part of the narrative for my first book about they've been using. Excuse me, is it that one? I don't know. They've been using, I'll bring it up now, sound weapons. Did you see it?
No.
You didn't see it? In Belgrade, to get rid of a disturbance. God, that shit's really scary, let me tell you. Really fucking scary.
I wonder if that's anything to do with that. What did Tesla? Tesla invented something called an earthquake machine.
He says I got Tesla picked up here. No, let me just share this a minute.
That was 1902. 1902. He had cracked that.
Well, they say the the narrative that it could have hit the dome, come back down in Tunguska.
Yeah.
You know, so that sort of, you know, the reverberation of it could have caused, because that is the same time zone as well. So
yeah, it is. Yeah.
yeah, but they didn't go there for 25 years later, so there is that. Yeah, let me just show you this. This is quite petrifying. So what they're doing, and I knew they would do this as well, was use sound weapons to get, you know, disturb or get rid of a large crowd. But it's quite frightening when you see it in action. Check this. Can you hear anything?
Yeah.
Watch this.
Ooh.
Oh, it fucking glitched. Excuse me. It fucking glitched. Let me start that over. Stop sharing. Just before there, let me just. Oh, it's just glitching. Excuse me. I'll put it on again now.
Do you know what's really strange? When you were just speaking a moment ago, and I was just about to say to you that
sharing.
that the weapon that the earthquake device that Tesla invented, he said that it could destroy a skyscraper, and I looked up at the time and it was 9/11.
What?
Yeah, just as I said that, it was 9/11.
It's not going to fucking do it, is it? I seen David Bowie talking about a black noise weapon that he was familiar with.
Really?
Yeah, he's on a Dick Cavett show, and he said that it could do this. Let's see if it was just fucking scroll through. Excuse me. It's quite scary. Imagine this summer in Britain. Whatever it is, it flattens everybody.
Shit. And where was that?
Belgrade this week,
Belgrade.
2 days ago. Yeah. So they had you know, they're basically doing the same protesting as everywhere. And they said it. They've literally said, "Oh, it wasn't a sound weapon," when it's clearly a sound weapon that's come through with like a sound wave from here, and it literally fucking flattens people. Watch his face now. This is right seconds before it hits, right? And everyone just starts legging it as well. Scary stuff, man. So they got that sort of stuff for us. Mr. Tesla himself. He's a strange one, isn't he? I wonder how much he paid.
Yeah.
He's got like a prop. That shows he got much money he got, because he had actual hair implants into his follicles. Yeah. Because he was bald as a coot back 20 years ago.
He's a strange man. I don't trust him at all. There's something very strange about him. Nobody should trust him.
I don't know what he's up to. You know, he's given us the narrative that he's a Satanist. He's supporting fascism. He's have you seen his father?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah,
South African, isn't he? His mother, yeah. I mean, does she still model?
Well, I seen her like doing some, like, she's older, obviously, but it's some really strange avant-garde-y sort of clothes. She's a bit avant-garde. So, yeah, very fucking strange.
Yeah.
How
the whole family's bizarre.
Say, you know, stand in the Oval Office and dictate everything. It's a very strange affair.
Yeah.
Not even American. So there's that. Again, bloodline.
Yeah.
You know, I seen you done a video with Campbell the other day. I haven't watched it all, but you were talking about the similarities between, the book with Barron Trump in and Elon Musk.
Yeah. So I find that really, really strange that if you put the whole thing together. So Tesla's files are taken by John Trump from his hotel room when he dies, and weirdly enough, 3 days before he died, he'd arranged to have a meeting with the US military to discuss the death ray. I mean, it wasn't actually really called the death ray. I can't remember the name of it, but its nickname was the death ray. So he arranges they think he's going to sell it to the Russians. The military, US military, say let's have a meeting, and you can sell it to us. Then he dies, but just before that happened, he was run over, hit and run. So just before this meeting, he dies in his hotel room. John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle, gets into the hotel room, takes all the files away. Yeah, John Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump's uncle is the one who took Tesla's files to a warehouse, 2 truckloads, to a warehouse in New York at an undisclosed location. I've got the FBI file on it.
That's amazing. I never knew about that.
He then goes through all these files, right? John Trump does. But the ones he never hands back over, allegedly, the 3 documents he doesn't hand in relate to time travel. John Trump passes them to Donald. Donald needs someone techie to help him finish off making what Tesla was working on. Now, I wonder who he could find to do that. Then you've got that going on with the books that Ingersoll Lockwood wrote. No one ever bought them. They weren't popular at all.
Yeah, could they have just been introduced recently or something? It's just.
I think so. You know, I mean, the theory is that. I think so. I think so. The theory with it all is that Baron Trump, Donald Trump's son, is a time traveler.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not the kid that we saw years ago.
He's not. There's just no way. And he's massive, and he just looks at everyone grinning like he's some superior intelligence or something.
Yeah,
really weird and creepy.
They said that he was genetically different and genetically enhanced. I mean, his teachers said that he was different to the other children. His intelligence was on a completely different level to the other students.
You know, I was wondering if they were just living for hundreds of years, man, like vampires. You know, like like an interview with a vampire.
Yeah, they're immortal.
We're looking at that guy in the photograph. Just now that the doubles is because it was them, but in that time.
Yeah, they just keep going, and that's also that. I mean, people will dismiss it, won't they? But how do we know? And what is the fascination with vampires and the immortals? I mean,
the blood again.
This was taken really seriously by, the Vatican were actually researching into vampires. It was taken quite seriously in the 1400s.
Well, it was quite serious up until 1900 because there was mort cages put into British cemeteries, and the narrative
so they couldn't get out.
Vampires. So they're believing in vampires in the late 1800s. Okay, I was just saying. So maybe there's. They're living hundreds of years. I've been wondering about that.
Yeah.
But clones makes a lot of sense. Have you ever seen that film with Tom Cruise when he's basically got he discovers later on that he's just one of hundreds of him?
Yeah. The Island as well with Ewan McGregor. That's quite a good one.
That's a cracking little film, that is. Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah. And of course, you've got Star Wars with Attack of the Clones. I mean, you can see the stormtroopers being. So this information is out there. Where do they get it all from?
One essential source, and not only that, there's set amounts of narratives, and they share the same archetypes. So the story of Jesus and the devil, you can see that story in Star Wars. You can see that story,
Harry Potter,
The Matrix, when you got Mr. Anderson and Neo. Yeah. Is that or Snowpiercer? Did you ever follow that? There was the evil train.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. I
went
tried.
Shit. No, the film was good, but the series went to shit. It did start off with, but it went to shit because ITV bought the rights during Rona, and it went to shit. But I'm just saying that they got just set amount of archetypes. There's good, the bad, and there's just a repeated narrative.
The hero's journey. Yeah. Superman. See, Harry Potter is Harry Potter to me will always be Luke Skywalker.
Well, yeah, Luke Skywalker with Luke, I am your father, Darth Vader. There's the dark evil, devilly one, and the good Jesus-y character. They keep doing it. Same. Yeah. Finite stories. That's something else they got as well.
Yeah.
And music, finite narratives, finite stories. This is why creative content artists, content providers, I think they're sort of like really sought after. From what I've made out in 10 years on YouTube, there's not many do what we do. Yeah, honestly, it's just not. You know, when the amount of research and sort of, I think that like led to my information. You know, from an inner source, I'm like, seek and fucking destroy me. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where it comes from. But it's good. Whatever it is, it's good. So there's that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. It's like you're on a mission, your own mission, and I think it's important to have something like that. I think we all need that.
Some days I wake up and I'm like, fucking hell, who the fuck am I? Oh, and then I have to give myself a download of who I am and what I do, and I'll be like, all right, that's me. Wow, that's trippy. I do. Because if I like think about my life, it blows my head off. Because the things I've done in my life is just mind blowing. I've done everything I've done virtually nobody else does. It's just craziness. I've always been like that. I continue to be like that.
Yeah, and I think that's important. And I think everybody's here for a reason. And I think that the problem is people are often scared or restricted to try something new, to make a break and say, do you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this 9 to 5. I'm going to follow my passion or my dreams. I'm going to do this. And it takes a leap of faith in yourself.
It does, but you can do it. Everyone can do it.
Yeah, everybody's got something.
You can do anything you put your mind to. If you really want something with cast iron conviction, no, I won't give up. Smack the table. Fuck it, I'm having this. It's yours.
Yeah,
because you need that cast iron conviction that it will happen, and I will make it happen, and it will happen. It's when these niggling doubts come in. Oh, I'm only half-assed. People who say might means I won't. People who say maybe is a won't. You know, there's
will or won't.
Will or won't. It's like, you know, if you're going to be assertive in this place, just either say yes or fucking no.
Because you know right there and then whether you're actually going to do it. Maybe it's just it's just a stalling tactic, isn't it? It's just a delay. You already know when someone says to you, "Are you going to do this, or will you try this?" Oh, I might do. Just say no. Say no. Don't be afraid to say no.
Like that trip to Australia, the first thing that came into my mind is, I don't think I could actually do that. And then I was like, and then I had another little voice that says, "Oh man, how many chances you're going to get in this life?" And then the other voice saying, "Yeah, but fucking hell, it's a long way away from your family." And it's just like this conversation going on. It was like no cast iron, like, yeah, that's fucking brilliant, I'll do it. You know, I had all of these troubling thoughts behind, you know, traveling.
Same. I'm in the same.
It's just so far,
I'm in exactly the same thing. Yeah, I totally agree. That's exactly where I am.
I just don't know if I'll feel really disjointed away from my family and do you know what I mean? I was like breaking my heart in America. I really was. I was over there way too long. I was over there like 4 months. First time 3 months, and then fucking 6 months of the year before last in America. And I was just grieving to get back to Wales. I just terrible state. I was just like,
I understand.
Aching inside. My soul was aching. And they don't get it. It's like you don't understand how it feels to be British. There's something about it. It's just. And if you take it away from it, that feeling, it's hard to explain to people who are not from here.
Yeah, but no, I totally agree. I'm battling the same question.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's been on your mind as well. Has it been on your mind? And me. Yeah. I know they would make everything fantastic and all of that. It's just so far away from me. It's just, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it is, isn't it? It couldn't be any further.
No, it's like just another world. First thing I noticed when I arrived in America was like, fuck me. It was too different for me. It was like everything is different. The grass is different. The air is different. The heat's different. The people are different. The shops are different. The cars are different. The road, everything was different. There wasn't anything that was the same as here. Nothing was the same as here. And it was just like I'd been just taken up and put on another planet. That's the only way I can explain it. It was nothing like here. Nothing. Yeah, it was just incredible. And that would be the same, like another world, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think, you know, I'd like to see everywhere. I'd like to travel the whole world, but
Well, I have been doing though. That's the
it has
thing.
to be the right time, and it has to be with my wife. You know, it's not something
Well,
like
this
I
is
don't want
it
to.
as well. Yeah, I got things ongoing as well. So there's that. It's on my mind. But you know, I travelled all my youth and you know all my early years, my 20s, because I was in a merch, so I got to
Mm,
go everywhere. But then I gave it up to bring up a family, and then when everyone died, the first thing I thought is I'm fucking jumping back on that, traveling, going back traveling again, because it's definitely in me to travel and stuff. But
mm,
the world's such a changing place, and I think of that
yes.
as well. You know,
Yeah.
apparently from the 2nd of April, you got to have special dispensation to be able to travel to or from the United States. It's like almost a closed border. It's like, you know, you can be allowed in if your chick's from, yeah, but it's going to be a load of forms and stuff. It's all that.
Mm,
Everything's changing, man. It's just,
yeah.
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 And Europe's gone all funny on America and vice versa. Well, that's fucking shit, isn't it? When you got, you know, when you love people in America, that's really horrible. People, yeah. So
I
there's
think they
that.
want to stop travel. I think they don't want us. I
They
think they
don't.
actually don't want us to leave the house.
No, they don't. They don't. They're making it so super unfavorable to travel in an airport anyway. All of it
Mm,
is nasty, and they just want everyone in, and just 12
yeah.
minutes. You know, this email I had this morning is somebody saying, Martin, they just put all of these fucking police barriers all around Bristol in the middle of the night. The police to like just section off roads, so everyone got to just stay in their areas because of protests. Apparently, it's like what? It's just like everyone just stay in your area. Don't go out of your
Yeah.
area. No, no. So a lot
Yeah.
of people are thinking of deserting Britain. That's all you ever hear about the breakaway civilizations. No, I'll tell you now. I started a breakaway civilization, Barbaria, back in 2018. I got given 280 acres of Queensland in Australia to do what, you know, to set up a breakaway civilization. I literally sent people there, families. They get there, it all goes tits up. The guy who runs it's a right old pervy. He's a right, something wrong with him anyway.
Oh,
Yeah. It's like he got all like students coming through every year to do work for him, so he can just perv on the
right.
girls. He's all right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm not going to make that mistake again to send people to
Mm,
somewhere like that. So I had people giving me land Colorado, and other places as well because I knew something was up, and that was in 2018. And you don't want me to tell you what happened since. And then, like, come to 2021, everyone's like, "Oh, Martin, is that still happening?" It's like, well, no, when I had it going, it all went tits up. Nobody was even bothered. So there's that.
mm,
So yeah, I tried. A few of my friends broke away. One went to Portugal. People went, you know, to different places on the rivers. I got people who got boats on rivers. My friends. So to get away from it because it's like
yeah.
almost, you know, it's crushing some people. So there's that.
Yeah. Portugal is somewhere that we've been looking at for some time now. For several years, we've been looking
Yeah,
at Portugal,
yeah,
just to get away and not live off grid as such, but be self-sufficient. You know, we would certainly try to, you know, find somewhere where that had wells that we could grow, and just stick a load of containers on there and use solar
that's it.
until I can get someone to make me a little Tesla tower, which I have seen done.
Yeah,
Um,
you nailed it.
uh,
That's it. You could do all that. I thought
mm,
about doing everything you just said as well, but it obviously takes funds and everything else, so
yeah,
not going to happen.
no.
But for like, you know, a massive Bavaria thing we were thinking on doing back in the day. John Levy was in on the idea and everything.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, he was going to come and move as well. We were all going to buy a big load of land. But then I just started to get bugged because basically people started like, I was going to do this way, we're going to do it that way. And it's like, oh, here we go. I haven't even fucking started it yet. Here's the rules. Nah, that's not me. I'm not going to be
Yeah.
able to be there because you're going to have people like, oh, I'm the alpha male. And there's people like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and women there's always trouble with women and everything else. And fucking no, I thought, no. But you're right. To go away with you and your missus and your family.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Portugal, really lovely and easy to buy land there, and it's easy to get. So you could buy somewhere in Portugal. Like I looked in the estate agents' windows. They had like houses with land for like 60 grand. It's just like half the price of Britain. It's half the price.
Yeah, exactly.
Much less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
climate's better. And
Bulgaria is really nice, beautiful. Don't know the gangsters people off. It's beautiful in Bulgaria and Romania as well, where you can buy really cheap properties and land as well, and they're welcoming as well. But we don't know what's going to happen with Europe, because
exactly, that's the problem, isn't it? And then of course you need residency and everything, so
Yeah.
it's not just as easy. Otherwise you'd have to stay for 3 months and then come back.
Yeah, I checked on the ESA. You need a visa for Australia, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, just like the USA, it's the same people. Yeah, I got a visa for America, valid one. But so yeah.
Yeah, we're off to Canada middle of May to stay with our eldest son. He's been out there, and my wife's just done her visa. I need to do mine actually. But I remember last time we went to America that we just filled a little piece of paper in on the plane.
Yeah.
And now it's a shitload more than that.
Phew, back in the day, I used to be able to go to Amsterdam on a ferry, no passport or anything. Back in the day. You could buy a weekend pass. It was like a little pink slip of paper.
Yes, yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
No passport required. It was like, oh yeah, I'll just be back Monday, like a week Monday. No problem whatsoever.
And I remember the little paper passports as well, the little temporary passports.
The temporary passports as well. I had one of them.
You just go down the post office and get one of those, couldn't you?
You could, and they were good for anywhere in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
They start like they do with everything, just making money on it. Everything's just like, I noticed like the state of Britain. I don't want to mention about what aspect is the worst aspect of Britain at the moment. We all are quite aware of what's going on, but it's deliberate.
Absolutely.
It's set to fail because it's just jobs for the boys, because you're gonna need a million fucking translators, and you got these, that, and the other, and it's all just, and all of these fucking NHS fucking workers and all of that. They all like, it just keeps it all turning. There's jobs for thousands of that. So it doesn't matter if it's not going to work. It doesn't matter. It's jobs for the boys.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. It's designed to ultimately break and implode on itself.
100%. Things are set up like that anyway. I noticed some countries are set up to fail. Music industry, some artists just they were built them up and they will fucking destroy them later. I earn money doing that as well.
Yeah.
So it's all that. But interesting what you said about clones at the beginning. I'm really interested. That was super interesting. I did a show with a guy 10 years ago called Jesse Spotts, American comedian. Yeah, he used to be relatively famous, and he talked about cloning centers, and he had photographs of these places. Yeah. They said they go underground, and he said they're churning fucking loads out, and all
the dumps.
All of Hollywood are in it. There's definitely something going on with the old switcheroony, but it doesn't work for all of them, because whatever's happened to Madonna, because I used to really love Madonna. I just think she was amazing. Yeah, I love Madonna. I'd love to. I thought my time was going to come, and now, well, oh my God, she literally looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid.
She does, doesn't she? It's all gone horribly wrong, hasn't it?
So what happens? She sold her soul to the devil. He don't like her very much because she looks. But on the other hand, Cher, who is like 99 years of age, she's still got a body like a fucking teenager. She's like, do you believe in love? Have you seen her? It's like, how is that even possible? You were like that in the 60s. This is like 2025. How are you still doing that? So she's a mystery. I think she definitely sold her soul to.
Yeah, she's obviously doing what she's told.
Porn.
Yeah,
which is a beastwick. She's Susan Sheridan. She's in the club. What you notice is anyone who was hanging around with David Bowie and Keith Moon back in the day, or Alice Cooper, they were in that club, and you see Susan Sheridan's like that with David Bowie and
Yeah.
yeah. Have you seen them shots?
Yeah.
You know, it's like she's a Hollywood actress. You know, what the fuck is she doing with? So they're all like these close friends in this Hollywood clique thing. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I tell you what I do enjoy, and I watched a film of it the other night, and I thought it was fucking brilliant. I really like, my mother hated this man, but I really like Woody Allen. Woody Allen, do you ever watch him?
Yeah. You
Not
know,
you, is he? Not you.
Yeah, he always made me feel a little bit uncomfortable.
He does make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And his lifestyle as well, and everything that come out after him. But,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So John Lennon as well. He's a bit dodgy, isn't he?
Do you think?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I've been watching like these video breakdowns of the Beatles day to day. Like, obviously, she was his handler. She got sent in to just ruin the Beatles. Yoko Ono, no doubt about it. She was smart, a lot smarter than John Lennon. And but he was like his early. I don't want to say about his early days with his abusing women and all of that. But he was. Everyone said it was kept under. He had a thing with Sutcliffe. They was like lovers with Sutcliffe.
Really?
Yeah. He was like a beautiful fucking man. This Sutcliffe. You see the pictures of him in Hamburg, and him were like cutched up all of the time. And then if you see on YouTube, there's a video. You see of him touching up and feeling up Mick Jagger in that stupid Rolling Stone circus thing that they did. And he's like, oh, no. So I think he was like, not that he openly admitted it, but he definitely think he was. But it's weird, isn't it? It's like his missus like, oh, you go do what you want. Kill Fifi. We'll take Fifi home. And he goes and like takes this young Oriental person, and then that's his lover for the next year or something. And he's like, and his wife, that's just all weird behavior, if you ask me. You know? So it's like the whole thing behind him is just demonic, I would say. I think he was a definite Tavistock willing participant, unlike early Paul McCartney. And it probably was their death as well, if you think about it.
Yeah, could well have been. Yeah.
Unless they're still around. But, you know, poor George. That's all I say.
What about Ringo?
Well, he's another clone. There's no way, right? Yeah. So Mick Jagger is still sprinting around the stage for 2.5 hours with the Rolling fucking Stones. Okay. I can't even do that. And then you've got... he just released a record with who else was he with? Ringo Starr's just released a record. Anyway, it's very Beatles-esque, and he looks 60. He's in his 80s. He's got, I don't know if he had a hair transplant, whatever's going on, but he don't look old as fuck. There's something weird about him. So maybe he's not the same. His son is drummer with The Who and Oasis, Starkey. His son's a very good drummer. Yeah.
So is it possible that this could be linked to achrome?
Anything is possible.
Yeah, because you've got all these different options, haven't you? I mean, they could be cloned, they could be taking something, they could be immortal.
Yeah, but maybe that's what happened with Madonna. I considered that. It's like, oh, maybe that's what happened with all of them. You know, even the royal family is 1 minute they're all fantastic, looking like movie stars. The next minute they're all like, well, like Madonna. You know, there's like something's run out. Maybe it's just the price of it has become that expensive, because maybe since this got busted, as and everyone got to talk about it, and then that became rarer. Maybe. Yeah, I think it was, you know, Hunter S. Thompson's talking about his own experiences in Love in Las Vegas. And in his drug bag, he had a supply of adrenochrome. So there's that. So it did exist, and it does exist as a drug source. So I have no doubt of that whatsoever. But, you know, obviously the way they get it. I think there could be a shortage of it. Could be.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I mean, if you look into the vampire stories, the further back you go, the more it is that you know, I think that the idea of them taking young women is perhaps quite modern and really for the movies. But actually, years ago, the vampires, it was children that they were taking.
Yeah, 100%.
It was kids. So you know, is this the adrenochrome?
Well, there's no future for Hollywood. I don't know what they're all going to do with themselves. They'll have to just find something else to do, because all of this can be done by AI. They don't make real films, and no one gives a shit anymore. There's that.
No, you're quite
no
right.
No one trusts them. No one trusts
No.
them. I would never, you know, like if there was a film like Kevin Spacey, come on, I wouldn't watch a film with Kevin Spacey, Kevin Hart, or any of the Kevins, actually. I just wouldn't. There's loads of actors I can't watch inside, you know, just you find out what these kind of people. But,
Will Ferrell's another one. You know, you know, Step Brothers was probably one of my favourite films. You know, just anytime you want to laugh, pop Step Brothers on.
It is.
And then you look into him, and what a dark, vile piece of work he is.
It does surprise me, you know, because he's really.
Oh God, yeah. The same with Dave Grohl, actually, from Foo Fighters.
He's got the worst basement in Hollywood, hasn't he? Dave Grohl. I think there was something to do with, you know. I don't know. I'm not going to say, because last time I mentioned Kurt Cobain, they put a banner on my video. So
Christ!
They did. I literally had a text message off of YouTube. I'm not even joking, saying, "Is everything all right? Is there any help you need?" I was like, "Yeah, everything's fine, thanks." Because I mentioned, honest to God, the AI weirdness, AI algorithm is into my shit that much. They sent me a text message to make sure everything was all right. You're not thinking of doing anything, are you, Matt? It's like, I just done a video on somebody else. You're not really paying attention, probably, are you?
Bloody hell.
Yeah, no shit. Listen, I think something and it comes up. It happened twice today. I thought something and it's just come up on my screen. How is that even happening?
Yeah.
How is predictive? They can predict my... I don't think I'm easy to predict, because I'm a creature of spontaneity and I'm always breaking pattern. I never know what I'm going to do next. So I can't see how they can predict my next patterns. Do you see what I'm saying? I just can't see that. So I don't know how it's being done. It's really spooky, weird.
Yeah.
AI is demoned and it's a portal, and it's more. I think they say it's not sentient. I think it's just, I feel it looking at me when I'm not even fucking doing anything. It's like, ooh, you know, it's just like fucking, it's just like, is it watching? You know?
Yeah, we just don't know, do we?
No, we don't. So
but it is. It is. Yeah. It learns every single thing about us.
Absolutely,
all the time.
Every single thing about us, and they've always known as well. They know, since we were little, tiny babies, know every single fucking thing that we've done.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I know. Yeah. So we've been talking for 2 hours 17 minutes, and I know we could talk. I know we could talk a load more. I know. So should we wrap this up soon?
Yeah. I could do with a pee and a fag, actually. Yeah.
So, well, I've been smoking, but I definitely need a drink of coffee or something. I've literally got cotton mouth. But thank you for being here. Thank you. Your research is really interesting. You know so much stuff I don't know. So I'm really happy you could share some learnings with us all. And I hope,
pleasure, mate.
Yeah, well, I'll come on your channel again and make sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed that. It was good feedback. So yeah, everybody, make sure to subscribe to Guy's channel, Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids. Or next, you're always doing videos as well, aren't you? They come out every week.
Try to, do try to,
And Facebook.
But yeah, but I'd love to have you back on and pick your brains a bit more.
Sure. Yeah, we're all putting something to the table and see what we can come up with, man. Little puzzle pieces between us all. I'm down for that. Fucking definitely.
Yeah.
I never claim I know the answers. I just don't. I'm just happy to learn, and learn new stuff.
Same. Yeah, I learn every day. Every day I learn something.
Because if you're stuck into a narrative saying, "Oh, this is the way it is," and that's fuck off everybody else, then you're never going to get anywhere, in life, because you're just going to be stuck in that narrative.
You remind me of someone. That just reminded me of someone so much. Someone who recently has decided they know everything.
Yeah, you get a lot of that. You get a lot of that.
Yeah.
But no, I keep an open mind on all things. I just
Absolutely.
don't know what it is.
I'd rather be wrong and find out the truth than believe in a lie.
And another thing I was careful with as well is just making automatic. Yes, that's definitely it. I've done that with myself a few times, and just that is it. And then I'm like, later on, I found out, well, hang on, there's holes in this.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm careful not to do that with cast iron. You know, like, oh no, that's definitely the case. You know, I'm very careful with it because things chop and change daily, and there's always new information coming in.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I'm quite excited to think where we'll be in. You know, I know other people really don't know what's going on here sometimes, but this is a journey, and there's a chronology to our disclosure of the history truth. You know, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I really am.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and it's good to be part of it, part of the journey.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. Well, thanks for bringing your vibration and good energy here today.
Thanks for having me on.
Nice positive atmosphere and no negative Nelly stuff, which is awesome. Loving that.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for being here. Anyway, have a good evening. You and your fam. And I'll see you very soon. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, no worries. Do it again very soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, see you later, guys. Bye, mate.
Take care. Bye for now.
See you later, alligator.
In a while, crocodile.
In it. Wait.
Oh, man, I'm tired.